Hi Anti-Society, welcome back to the Antisocial Planet, and today we are checking out a new Dreamcatcher song, Bon Voyage. I am so excited because whenever there is new Dreamcatcher music, it hits differently, you know. I know that I'm still kind of going through their discography and still catching up on some of their music, but this is my second comeback knowing them as a group, and the first one was like really early on in my journey, whereas I feel like now I know them a whole lot better, so I'm very excited to get into this one. I think it'll be epic, as their lead singles usually are. It's the B-sides that I have to be wary of because they will get me directly in my heart. I don't have any context for this either, so I know Bon Voyage is like good travels. It's a pretty common phrase in French that people just use, so I don't know how much that is like directly related to the song in terms of like it being a French phrase, or if it's just like the meaning behind the phrase in a more like general term, as like lots of people use it. I'm so excited. We're gonna see who comes from my soul in this song, because it could go any way. It could be any of them. We're gonna check out the lyric video first, listen to the song, get the vocals, get the production, get all of that out of the way before we get into the music video. Music video, I don't know if it's storyline related because I have not caught up in that. I'm still in the nightmare part of their storylines, so if there is, I'm probably not gonna get it, and that's okay. We'll loop back later and get any specific imagery for the storyline. But with that, let's get into this song because I've already waited long enough. I have a brief thought before we get into the actual song. What is this picture of Dami? Because I have said multiple times that there's something about Dami's eyes, and I feel like this picture with just her eyes is a personal attack on me. The rest of them look stunning too, but that was like the first one where like, ma'am, I did not give you permission. Am I stalling a little bit? Maybe. I'm a little bit anxious because I know it's gonna be good and it's gonna be like an experience. I was not expecting us to start so softly. I was not ready for Yuhyun. It's gonna be one of those songs, isn't it? Where I'm just gonna have to like go back and catch my breath. It's fine, we're fine. Ooh. That bass though? Oh, I got chills and I can feel the tears coming. I was like, it's fine. It's a lead single. Those never get me my feelings unless they're like fairy tale. But we're like 30 seconds in and I'm like, oh my gosh, I have a lot of emotions. Oh, their vocals are so soft, and like I love the pullback on the production. I love the bass and like the two guitars that are almost like doing like different things. So there's like two guitar riffs in like the front of the production, and then like this bass line that's really prominent, and like they all kind of clash but in a way that makes sense. Again, I'm not a music theorist and I don't do production, so I don't have the right vocabulary for that. But having all of that sound and then like pulling back and having the really soft vocals from all of them, my heart, I feel too many things. And not everyone has sang yet. Handong was about to start singing and I'm like, I can't in my emotional state take Handong singing because she always gets me directly in my feelings. I love that line too. The color with the white emotion. No! It was the acoustic guitar with Gio's vocals. This though, Dami with the soft vocals coming in. I love the idea of like the color with the white emotion, having this person like bringing in that color and like talking about like filling you up and that kind of a thing. I love the imagery of that. We've had lots of different parts of their other songs, them talking about like drawings and that kind of a thing, about like drawing a world and bringing in that imagery of like creating an image in your head externally. And I've talked before about how I think that's a really interesting thing that they continue with, because they have all this dream imagery in their songs. Obviously, it's part of like their whole aesthetic of a group, but a dream is something that like only you experience, and it's in your head, and it's not a thing that exists in like the external world. And I feel like drawings and art and having that be a continuous motif in their songs is really interesting, because that's like taking what's in your head and externalizing it and expressing it in a way that other people can experience and have their own interpretations of. So I love the idea of like them talking about drawing again and like having color introduced by interacting with others. And I feel like this is towards their fans. And yes, I did need to pause so that I wouldn't start crying. I'm in too deep at this point, and I was not ready for there to be an acoustic guitar with Gia's vocals. Sua hasn't come in yet, and I'm very nervous about what that's going to be like for me. I love the deeper vocal from Handang too. Oh, drawn in a different way. Whatever. I'm not okay. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it's about the song. I don't know what it is about where I'm at mentally right now, but I'm not okay. Especially with like Xian, we had her doing like a really light vocal before, and her coming in with that like full chest voice, the beautiful tone that she has, the power behind it, contrasting with like the acoustic that we had before with the softer vocals, and then having the more like drums and electric instruments coming in. I'm not okay. We got to drawing eventually. I loved Sua coming in there. Beautiful belting. I loved also getting more of a belting tone from Jiu, because I feel like she's usually a very soft tone, and then getting her to have a little bit more of that like closure to her vocal cords and oomph behind it. We got a fret slide in there. Always love those. I love how they're doing so many different things in this. Like, we're a minute in and I'm not okay, but they're doing a lot of things interesting with like their vocal delivery. We've had lots of different kinds of vocals from all the members. We've had pauses in the production. We've had lots of different instrumentation. Like, they're doing all of these wonderful things in it that keep it very interesting and engaging. But I think it's also shows off like a lot of their skills. And I need to see a live performance of this. Comment below what your favorite one is. Not with the link, because those will be like deleted automatically, because I have that to help with like spam and stuff, so that people don't like, bots don't like leave sketchy links in my comment section. But leave me what your favorite live performances that they've done so far of this, so that I can watch it, because I think it'd be so good, them like flexing their vocals and then having those moments where there's more high energy in the production to do like choreo and stuff like that. Like, I don't know why I said choreo so weird in that one. I'm a mess. Okay, I'm a mess, and it's all their fault, and I'm not even mad about it. I love the heavy drums too. I love that imagery in those couple of verses, like having this verse where it's like we're at a crossroads, especially since it's like bon voyage, right, which is about like travel and that kind of a thing. Like even like someday we'll be at a crossroads, right? It's like someday, and then we have like we're at a crossroads is kind of like this moment before you make a decision, right? And I feel like that's kind of where Dreamcatcher is at this point in being a group. And again, I'm still kind of new, so this is just like stuff that I picked up from the different videos that I've watched, compilations, things that people have left me in comments. But I feel like they're kind of at that point of, you know, they've gotten like wins recently, the first like major wins and stuff like that, and they're starting to gain a little bit more traction, a little bit more popularity, even though they're creating music that isn't the most popular in like South Korea and in like K-pop in general. They're getting a little bit more footing in the industry, and I feel like that's kind of where they're at, is like there's this crossroads of like, are we going to go one way and have this wonderful success, or are we going to take a wrong turn and end up somewhere else? Crossroads also makes me think of like some of the magic imagery and stuff that they have in their songs, and their music videos specifically, because crossroads are always a very like magically charged kind of symbol. Not to get too much into like the history of like magic, witchcraft and that kind of a thing, but you have things like Hecate, who's a goddess of like witchcraft and crossroads and travelers and stuff, but it also is kind of associated with like misfits. There's this idea that like there's lots of gods throughout different kinds of religions and places in the world where they're gods of crossroads, and part of their like the people that they kind of represent are misfits, people who they don't belong, people who are kind of wanderers from place to place. And I feel like that kind of fits with Dreamcatcher and Insomnia and that kind of a thing. And then there was like with Gahyun's lines that were in the next part. This part where it's like distorted fate is really interesting imagery to me, and like seeing, is it contradictory to like see you in my dreams and stuff like that? Again, bringing the dream imagery, but also they have like nightmare imagery. Like it's not necessarily dream in like a nice, sunny, wonderful sense. Like they have all of these distortions and like kind of like the wide spectrum of like what a dream can be, as opposed to just like a dream isn't like this wonderful, shiny, beautiful thing. And I kind of like distorted fate in terms of like their story, right, where like they were going to be a different thing and then they re-debuted, which isn't the normal path, and they did it through a music style that's not that popular. It is not the usual path if you want to be a super successful group, and they figured it out and made it anyway. And like there's this weird kind of wandering off kilter path that they've taken to get to this point in their career. I'm not okay. See, again, like I draw like a future with you, right? So again, like that drawing energy, that drawing imagery. Oh my gosh, I cannot talk at this point. And I really like the idea of, gosh, if I can finish my thought. I don't remember what my thought was. Hang on. There was a lyric that I had a thought about. This one where it's like, I literally was just here. I don't know what's happening anymore, okay? My brain was all over the place. They've discombobulated me. It's like if we get too close, we might get farther apart. And I feel like that is a very interesting image. Like I was saying before, I feel like they are at a crossroads between like major popularity and what they were before, which was a little bit more niche. And they're at that crossroads of like, as they become more popular, that's them getting the success that they've wanted. And us as fans, yeah, we want more people to know about them and appreciate them because we love them and we want them to have the success that they're going after. But at the same time, the more popular they become, the harder it is to connect with those people, because you only have so much that you can give, and everyone gets a little percentage of that, right? Like the fans each get like a little bit of what each of the members has to give to their fans. And the more fans that there are, the smaller that percentage is going to get, right? And that's not necessarily a bad thing overall, but it does mean that like they won't be able to connect as strongly with people. The more people there are, they have to connect with. They just won't have enough to give to everyone. So it's you know, it's like that feeling of like, as we get, like if we get too close, of like if we get, I'm seeing it as like if we get too close to like the thing that we've wanted, we're gonna get farther apart. I love the softer delivery that we're getting from Dami, even though this is like kind of more in her kind of rap tone, even though it's not quite the same as some of her other rapping. I'm not ready for Gio to come back in. The way she flips up is just beautiful. Suwa. I need to hear Suwa again. Hyun. Handong! Oh my gosh, okay. I'm loving that we're getting so much variety. We're getting the vocalists that are usually very like chest, lots of closure voices. I'm thinking like Suwa, Xian, Yehyun, those are usually the ones that have like a lot more closure to their voices, softening up a lot. And then having the softer voices, the more like breathy, airy voices like Handong and Jiu closing up a lot. Right? Like getting that great connection in their vocal cords, a lot more chest oriented. I love that. I love that they're showing the variety. And I know that they can do that. And they've had moments where they've obviously switched between those vocal tones, but they kind of have where their voice naturally sits. Some of them being a little bit more in that like chest belting zone as opposed to like the breathy zone of other people. And then this song is just like, let's do all of it. Let's do all the above. Let's just switch up who it's going to be. And I love that. I absolutely adore it because I feel like some of their earlier songs, which I've been working my way through, a lot of that would have been done by like Xian. She would have like kind of taken over those like belting moments, and then Yehyun would kind of fill in some of those parts too. Gahyun would also do some of that, though I feel like her voice is kind of like the middle point. I feel like it's like a bridge between kind of like the softer voices and the more belting voices, because she's like kind of in the middle naturally, and then she just kind of shifts to one side or the other depending on what kind of sound that she wants. But just I love that so much. I love that we got a moment with Handong. This chorus is everything though. The way the production just opens up here. That little cry in the vocals too. Vibrato. Okay, I've had shivers through my body so many times in this song that it's overwhelming. I love Yehyun's little vibrato that she does. I love how they're digging into certain sounds. There's like G and R sounds where they're all kind of like digging in to like the deeper tones of their voice and getting like lots of closure on their vocal cords, which I love. That note from Suwa. Oh! Was it Xian doing that note in the back? Hold on, hold on! Look, I love Dreamcatcher's music. I love it a lot. I listen to it a lot. It fits my aesthetic beautifully. It has been a long time since I've had a song hit so many points for me. Like emotional, like wanting to cry because of like the sweetness and the like genuine feeling of the way that they were delivering the lines, but then also cry because it's really good and it's kind of overwhelming. That bridge with the high note in the back, I love the multiple layers with like the lower tone that we had with the like repeating of the Bon Voyage. All of the instrumentation, we had some great bass earlier. Everyone's vocals were on point. There's a music video. I have to get through a music video too. How are you doing? How are you guys doing? How have you coped after this? Because I'm not well. I think I'm gonna have to listen to this song like 1,000 times. I'm kind of in shock. I'm gonna take 5. I'm gonna take 5, and then we'll come back and do the music video. Okay. So we took a little break. I'm still okay. I feel like I might cry. Just all the tears, all the emotions leaking out of my eyes. So whenever people ask me why I pause, it's because I get overwhelmed. This is what I mean. So I'm just gonna see how this goes. For personal reasons, I'm going to hold Totoro for this. He is my emotional support, and hopefully survive this. I don't know if I will. Okay. Oh, short hair. Ooh, I love the boots. Ooh. The camera work though. Oh, I love her hair. I love Tommy's hair too. The like, ooh, that like transition with all the things in the background. Again, I'm not gonna know storyline things really because I'm not really into this particular storyline yet. I do have seen like Vision, so I do have like some context of it, but not a ton. I'll loop back to it later, I promise, and do all the imagery that's like storyline related. I love the like kind of wipe screen transitions though with Dami's part though. The like destroyed skyscrapers. Ooh, what is that creature? Oh, hello, horse. Thanks, man. Sua's part though. Ooh, the like path though. We had before like talking about like crossroads in the lyrics as well. So seeing like Gio on like that winding path that was like highlighted that she was on, and then she kind of like looked back. I'm trying not to read too much into the visuals because I'm not gonna fully get it. Gosh, Sua just like coming in. This look. Who gave you permission? Because it wasn't me. Like red too around it. Dang, like pink contacts? Ooh. Was the reflection different? I feel like it was, I can't really see because my captions are on the way. Yeah, I feel like the reflection was doing something different. It has like the sparks, almost like fireworks, and then it's like the papers. Ooh, okay, there's like the ruins at the top, and then at the bottom they're not anymore. So it's almost like parallels. Her outfit is a bit different too. It's like looks lighter in the top version. Like this part is lighter than this darker version. And then the boots are different. especially with the line of distorted fate at this one, where there's kind of, it feels like that parallel, like two possible timelines almost, or like possible outcomes of what's going on. One's in ruin, one isn't. And we're seeing that a lot with like the different images of like all the members. Painting again. What is the creature? This pre-chorus though. Fireworks again. The contrast too of like, I was gonna say the difference in the facial expressions, like turning around, like this one's far more like kind of like a flat expression, or even like a, I don't know, there's like a lack of expression in it as opposed to the smiling that we have with the other one where her hair is like tied back. Again, it feels like there's kind of like two timelines happening. This too, of like the stairs, is interesting to me. The cards and the butterflies. Water too. Ooh! That note with that image, especially with like a white dove or like white birds are usually symbolic of like peace and stuff like that. So it's like reaching out for that while there's like the like explosions and chaos happening behind. It's like wanting to reach out to that like potential peace and stuff, especially since we have like the decay and destruction on some of the images. And then it's like reflected in this image where the destruction didn't happen. So it's almost like, and I feel like I talked about this in the Vision MV2, where it had this feeling, especially since it's part of like the Apocalypse kind of like line of albums and stuff. It's like the, again, Crossroads kind of feeling if we're going by the imagery in the MV as opposed to like what I interpreted from just like the lyrical standpoint. That crossroads of like, are we going towards peace or destruction, and kind of like where do we fall in that. So I love having that note, Sua's note there, where she's like reaching out to this like white dove and like kind of like the desperation of that. That high note though. Ooh, the rain is interesting. Ooh. Okay, like multiple thumbs. I don't know what the like monolith is for. Ooh. That was a cool image too of like it kind of like dissipating, kind of like this barrier almost. And we had before with Xian, where she had put the barrier up as well. So it's almost like protection in some way. I feel like I'm wandering into storyline stuff, which is not what I'm trying to be doing in this reaction. It did distract me from like the emotional impact of what the song does to me. But so many beautiful images. I love like the contrast of all of it. I love how there's lots of different images of them, like the ones where they're alone, kind of surrounded by some of them with like flowers. We had the butterflies, which is like transformation and stuff like that. But then we also had like with like Dami, hers was with like the paintings and things like that. Xian had like the staircases all over the place, so they kind of have like their own little individual images towards like where they are alone, and then kind of them interacting with the world between like the destruction and the like not destruction of the two, like the almost celebration, because we had like the fireworks and stuff. I love the water imagery of it because it's like, one, water is kind of like cleansing. It has this feeling of like serenity and stuff to it, but it's also like reflective, right? So you get all these reflections in the different water surfaces, kind of like a mirror, but it's also like I think like prisms, which is where you get like light refraction, and like rainbows and that kind of a thing. This is going to be a fun one to come back to when I actually get into the storylines and fully deconstruct what I think all the imagery is, because I don't have a ton of context right now. But I want to see more of the choreo. That's my main thing coming off in this MV. There were so many really cool images in that MV that I'm kind of sad that I don't get the full context of it. I feel like probably I'm getting like broad strokes of some of the stuff that they're talking about. I think that at some point somebody told me that has something to do with like environmentalism and like climate change and that kind of stuff is kind of like one of the basis of it, which I think would account for like the contrast of these very like nature plant kind of scenes that they had, almost like in like a nowhere space. It wasn't like specifically in any kind of like specific environment within it, and then you have like the destroyed buildings and things like that. So like the contrast between like kind of the industrial, very developed human kind of world construction stuff, and then like the natural imagery that we have in it. That song though is, I feel like, a core memory now. I feel like I've hit a point in my life where I'm gonna remember this moment because of the emotions that I had. There are a few songs where that has happened. Not in a while though. There are songs that usually like grow on me and they become more important the more I listen to them. I enjoyed them the first time, but then the more I hear them, the more they become important to me. And then every once in a while, a song comes out of the gate and just like grabs me in a way that I don't understand. But here we are. I feel like the last time I was this emotional and overwhelmed, at least related to Dreamcatcher, was Yehyun's solo. That's still a phase that I'm in. That's still an obsession. But I feel like this is a new one. New obsession unlocked with this song. I'm gonna be listening to it so much I can't even talk at this point. That's where I'm at. I don't have words anymore. My brain is like, how do I communicate what I'm feeling externally? I don't know. And we have like the album to get to, which is going to be a whole other experience, but I hope you enjoyed watching that along with me. You can click this playlist to go and see my previous reactions, or you can subscribe so next time I post a Dreamcatcher reaction, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.